What up, YouTube? It's the young bull JT and Floyd Mayweather, pound for pound king in boxing history, has spoken out on racism in boxing. I know I'm late to the party, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna speak on it. I didn't really want to make a video on it because everyone seems to want to make a video about racism and all these beefs and all this other childish shit. Look, man, it is what it is, man. I just sit back and watch videos, man. YouTube, YTBC has been pretty entertaining, actually, man. You know, as of late, with all the shit going on, all these people, all types of shit been going on. Sean Newton getting punked by everybody. It's a beautiful thing, man. But anyway, dude, we got Floyd Mayweather on a interview that went viral, where he's talking about a myriad of different things. We got Floyd Mayweather's comments were, when you sit back and you think about the sport of boxing right now, Showtime is an unbelievable company. I'm saying that because Showtime stepped to the table and gave me the biggest deal in sports history. But I'm not going to sit on this phone and be biased. I had a very, very good relationship with HBO, but sometimes, just like relationships, people can outgrow one another. You got guys like Jim Lampley, a guy that don't know a right hook from a left hook, never fought one amateur in his life. When I was with the company HBO, he praised me. But when I made a smart business decision for me and my family, what did I get? Scrutiny. Once again, it's crazy. This guy, Jim Lampley, has never thrown one punch in his life, but got his own boxing show making up his own list. Well, if you got a list called the Guy list, I need to know what the Mayweather list is. Every fighter that's in boxing should try to take the Mayweather route. We all know Jim Lampley is biased, man. That's clear, okay? But what people need to understand is that Jim Lampley works for HBO. So he's gonna big up fighters on HBO. He's gonna praise fighters on HBO and etc. Where I have a problem with the guy is when he, bigs up, gives props, and gives all these accolades to only a certain amount of fighters, and then shits on the fighters that most likely, coincidentally, are African American fighters. He talks down on those guys and gives them not as much credit and all this other stuff. So if you're gonna just be pro HBO, that's another thing. That's your job, okay? I don't know how many of you guys have jobs, but that's a part of your job. But when you start shitting on and making all these excuses for certain fighters only, and then you're shitting on the Crawfords, you're shitting on the Bradleys, you're shitting on the who else they got? All those other guys, man. That's where I have the problem, okay? It is what it is. You got a guy in Lomachenko, who was a clear hype job. This guy lost to an auto mechanic, Salido, and he got beat up pretty badly, and that's just swept under the rug, and they just sit there and praise and say all this crazy ass shit about Lomachenko like he's just the greatest thing since sliced white bread. But what is he really? I don't see any power there. I just see the guy throwing a bunch of pity pat punches and moving around the ring. Okay? It is what it is. You know what I mean? But then you got a guy who's clearly a better than him in Rigondeaux, who I admit, he is boring. He is. He's boring. He went out there and he laid an egg in his last fight. He's boring. But at the end of the day, the guy he has clearly more talent than a guy like Lomachenko, okay? It is what it is, man. And if they ever fight, expect Rigondeaux to beat the shit out of Lomachenko. I mean, imagine. I mean, Lomachenko is a hype job, man. I mean, I'm sorry, dude. He got beat up by a janitor, Salito. Okay, he got beat up. All types of body shots landed on him. Got roughed up. If he got in a ring with Salito again, he would get his ass whooped again. But moving on, let's hear what he had to say. Floyd had to say. I mean, the other guy, Max Kellerman, all these guys, because y'all watched a bunch of VHS tapes and DVD tapes, that don't mean y'all know boxing. That don't mean y'all know about boxing at all. Paulie Malignaggi, he's a good commentator and he's a boxer. Tarver, he's a good commentator and he's a fighter. Even Bernard Hopkins is with Golden Boy. He's a good commentator. George Foreman, Andre Ward, these are good commentators. I can't believe Ring Magazine got Andre Ward ranked pound for pound #4 on the list, even though the guy that is ranked #1 pound for pound, Chocolatito, you can't argue with that. But Andre Ward losing a fight, but without Andre Ward losing a fight, he has to be #2. I mean, he wins his fights not in good fashion, but in great fashion, and they have him at #4. They got some guy ranked #9. I don't know his full name, so I don't want to be disrespectful, but they got a Japanese guy ranked #9. They got Andre Ward #4, and that guy that's ranked #9, we don't even know who he is, but I believe racism still exists in the sport of boxing. All right, man. Okay, we know racism still exists in the sport of boxing. Just look at the comment section. Look at Hawker Mustang. Look at Precise Percenter. Look at these videos that are being made. I mean, that's clear. These guys, it's not race baiting. These guys are literally racist. A guy like Precise Percenter who's on homosexual dates with black men on video, smiling and giggling, but then makes videos saying all this crazy ass shit, man. And it's been a long history with that guy. It's not just recently. A lot of you bitches in the YTBC just came around. This guy been around for years doing that shit, man. But that's a whole nother story. Now, this guy, about Andre Ward, I do not like Andre Ward. I do not like his style. I think he's unbearable to watch. I mean, I don't like that style of fighting where you're hitting and holding and all that wrestling and grappling and all that John Jones MMA shit. I don't like it, okay? But at the end of the day, it's effective. It's got him to where he's got today. You can't take it away from him because you don't like his style, just like you did with Floyd Mayweather. You say all this shit because of things outside of the ring, his style. You guys are mad because Pacquiao can't land his lucky Dragon Ball Z left hand on him, or Canelo can't land a punch on him. You're frustrated because no one can touch the guy. And I watched a fight with Hispanics and other races, and they and if you watch the fights, they're upset that people can't land on them. It's like a frustration. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. And it's the same thing with Andre Ward, man. You guys are frustrated, dude. But I'm telling you, nobody beating that boy, man. Nobody beating that boy, man. I mean, I don't know. You know what? I'ma reserve my right to comment on that until I see him fight at light heavyweight Barrera. When I see that fight and I see how he looks, then I will further comment on this pound for pound #4. But I know goddamn well that Roman Gonzalez does not deserve to be #1. I'm sorry, dude. I mean, the guy is, again, he's another hype job, man. I mean, I'm sorry, dude, but he hasn't fought anybody to deserve #1 pound for pound. I saw 78's video, and I feel the same exact way. It seemed like this guy just came out of nowhere, and they just want to just replace Floyd Mayweather so bad, they just throw this guy in there. Who has he fought, man? I have not been impressed with no one he's beat, no one he's fought. I mean, he reminds me like he's just throwing punches. Like it's like a mini Pacquiao kind of thing, man. It's like, uh, no. I think the number one spot should be vacant. Okay, I think that's what it should be. And I think the three guys who should fight it out for it are Ward, Kovalev, and Golovkin. Those three guys, when those guys fight each other or step up big, I think one of those guys deserve the spot. Chocolatito, get him out of here, man. Get out of here with that shit, man. I mean, this is bullshit, man. This is not real. Chocolatito, I'm sorry, man. Chocolatito and Lomachenko, get the fuck out of my face, man. Moving on. Mayweather says you gotta really look at things like this. When Bahar Hopkins was a middleweight trying to fight De La Hoya Mosley Trinidad, the media said he was calling out smaller guys, which is funny because when Bernard Hopkins was fighting on HBO, he was getting all types of hate, man. Just go look at back at his fights, man. Whether it's Antoine Eccles or just go back and listen to the commentary when Bernard Hopkins was fighting. Just go back. But okay, anyway. They said Hopkins calling out smaller guys. When the guy Triple G does it, they don't say shit. Once again, I'm not racist. I'm just saying racism still exists. Do I think they're trying to get Andre Ward beat? Absolutely. Andre Ward, if you reading this, if I was you, I wouldn't move to 175 to fight the guy Kovalo, if that's his name, because I don't really know his name. I know he's a light heavyweight. Ward is a 68 pounder, and I think he should continue to dominate at 68. This is what I think should happen. Everyone keeps talking Triple G, so I just started taking notice probably last year. If this guy Triple G is so tough, so bad, from what they say, then let him go and fight Andre Ward. Once again, these guys in boxing media, not me, are rating this guy Triple G super high. He's good with the stationary target in front of him. But when he's fighting a guy that's straight up and down with no special effects, is he good? Absolutely. But do I think Triple G can beat Andre Ward? Absolutely not. Easy picking. It's going to be a very, very easy fight for Ward. Well, about the Ward and Kovalev thing, I already gave you guys my thoughts on that. I think that is true. They're probably not literally trying to get him beat, but they're trying to force him to do something that's not a good idea. I don't think Ward is a light heavyweight. Okay, he's not. Andre Ward is not a light heavyweight. Clearly. I mean, just go back and look at his weights, his fight weights. And again, his last fight with Paul Smith, 3 weeks before the fight, he was 173 pounds, 3 weeks out. So you do the math. I mean, all you idiots, all these fucking dumbasses who talking about Ward is a light heavyweight, like Sean Newton, that bitch ass freak Sean Newton. I mean, just be real with yourself, man. Ward's not a light heavyweight, okay? Clearly. It is what it is. He doesn't have a big punch. He's basically going into a fight with Kovalev, a fucking grappling match, man. Like, we know what's gonna happen. We know what he's trying to do, okay? How's he gonna do that with a guy hitting that hard and that big, much bigger than him? Okay, it's a setup, dude. I mean, I don't see what's okay. He beats Kovalev, then what? Ward's gonna be in the same position that he is at 168. So what's the point? You know what I mean? There's no real benefit from it. I mean, is he gonna get a big payday that he won't get at 68 if he was fighting Badu Jack or DeGale? Or I mean, I just don't see the benefit of it. But it is what it is. He's saying he's going to 75, so let's see him fight Barrera and let's see what happens. But as far as Triple G not fighting a stationary target, to me, I think Triple G is better when you're not a stationary target. When you're going away from him and he's able to cut you off and mow you down, I think that suits him better. So I think Triple G and Ward is a very, very competitive, close fight. At first, I had Triple G winning just based on the power and the boxing pedigree and ability. Okay? But again, Ward has been kind of inactive. I haven't seen him in a while. And when I watch this Kessler fights and Bika, I haven't been very impressed with that shit, man. And Froch, not very impressed, okay? But I saw his last fight with Paul Smith, and I'm like, okay, all right. It refreshed my mind. I'm like, okay, this nigga is not a joke, okay? He a real one, all right? So, I think that's a competitive fight. I'll call it 50-50 at this particular time. But again, I see Triple G getting nothing but better, and we just have to wait and see with Ward. We have to see what happens. But I wouldn't say that it's easy pickings. No, absolutely not. But again, I'm not gonna get into all the Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey shit because you guys should already know that those are great white hypes, man. I mean, it is what it is, dude. That's just hype. That's not real. Even though McGregor, he kind of, he proved himself, man. He kind of showed up and showed out in his last fight, so I'll give him credit. But that's just all a media creation, man. No different from Pacquiao. Pacquiao was one of the first media creations. Like, guys who aren't that good but get all this crazy ass hype and crazy fans. He was one of the first to do that shit. So I just think they're following the blueprint, UFC. So I'm not really gonna speak on that, but that's pretty much what I got on this Floyd Mayweather racism shit. It exists in boxing. It is what it is. If you don't like it, fuck you. It's the truth, man. I mean, I know people don't like to hear it for some reason, but see, when you're not black and you don't understand what it's like being black, constantly getting hated on daily, not just on YouTube, not just in a workforce, not just by police and harassment and people looking at you and people getting scared when you walk out of elevators and shit. When you don't live like that, you don't understand. That's why people bring this type of shit up, okay? But I'm not, I don't dwell on that shit, man. I just consider myself, man. You either fuck with me or you don't, okay? It's not about a race thing with me. It's I don't live like that. I'm not from the South. I'm not in these heavily discriminating, prejudiced areas. I live where people are a mixture of cultures, man. So I don't really, when you guys are saying all this black, pro-black, and all this white shit and all that, I don't live like that. So I can't really, I can't really relate to all that shit, man. But I understand where people are coming from, okay? And you guys should do the same thing. All right? So anyway, it's your boy JT. I'm out.